Hey kids, Christine here. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm going to show you ways that I've been experimenting with trying to mimic glassine. And here are some of the results, and I'm going to talk about each one. And then there's one more method and technique similar to this but different that it won't be ready today. It's still drying. It's a rainy day here. It's taking forever. But let me show you what we've got so far. So basically, in trying to mimic glassine envelopes, and we all know what that is, I have a box of them from like ages ago, but I'm running out. So I thought, well, I should figure out how to make them. So I experimented with a few things, and this was the little envelope I was able to make. It's a little wrinkled. I could probably have pressed the paper before that, but in general, you see it does operate like glassine. I'll show you how we did this. And then I made another one out of a different material, and this is a white, and I'll show you how that worked out. And then I took the this version and went through and embossed it and made these really cute windows. And then I took a napkin, you can see here, and we used that and made that transparent. And this is just a little flip out. And then I worked with some pre-printed designs on copy paper and revisited the baby oil method with this new method built in to see if I could make it so that the baby oil didn't stain other papers. So that's what we're doing. You can see a few different kind here. Let me show you. There's another one I've already put in my journal. And you can see it has texture and transparency. And when you hold it up to the light, it's really quite lovely. So that's what we'll be doing today. So stick around and let's see how this works. Hey kids, Christine here. Thanks for checking out this video, and I hope it sparks something in your creativity for your next journal project. So today we are going to work a little bit mimicking glassine. Now I know a lot of people love this. It's getting harder and harder to find. I have a box of these envelopes that I bought seriously 20 years ago for a different kind of project, and I have them and love them, but I'm also getting down to a few of them. So I'm going to use a couple of different materials, and I'm going to show you how to prep the material. I can't show you the actual process of making it transparent because that's done outside. But once you see it, it's so easy, you don't need me to explain anything else. So the material I am going to be working with today is a printed napkin and paper pattern, vintage pattern. This one is very orange. I'm also going to show you how to use printed plain copy paper and what my results were. And attached to that is I'm trying a new transparent baby oil method in conjunction with this method and see if it solves the problem of staining. There was another video that I talked about. I discovered well after the fact that some pages that were together, the baby oil vellum that I had made actually stained very badly an old antique piece of paper. So, but I'm still on the march for a solution to that. And I think I might have found it today, or at least one. So how do we do this, and what do we do, and what do we need? So first thing we want to do, let's start with the napkin here. We want to separate it. Now, a couple of things about separating your napkins, whether they're 2, 3, or 4 ply. These napkins I have discovered are 3 ply. So I just usually pick at an edge and then pull. Okay. So now I have separated that one. Well, it turns out there's another one here. But before I take that layer apart, let me show you what the results were with these. So here's the results of one. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. You could see right through it, and yet you still have the beautiful print. And here is the result with another one. This one is thicker. This one, I stopped at this point, and I left the second white layer on. It's slightly thicker, which makes it slightly stronger. It's only slightly less transparent. I mean, I can still see through this, but this is much thinner and slightly more transparent. But again, it's like microscopically. If you didn't know that this one existed, I think you would think this one was fine. So I say that so that you'll see these in the finished projects, but I'm going to go ahead and show you that you can in fact get that second layer off, because it can be a pain. Come on, you could do it. Again, it's just sort of flicking it. Come on. And sometimes the corner you choose is not the best corner. So if you pick a different corner, you might have better results. Come on. You know, in video production, I should have done this ahead of time, but I didn't. There we go. Okay, so you can see that now they're separated. And now I'm pulling off that second white layer. And you want to be gentle with it. Perfect. All right, so now I've got these two and this one. So I showed you what happens with the printed version, but let me show you these. So here's what happens when using this as the material. Right? And here's another one. Pretty, isn't it? Very plain, simple, but you can see right through it. So how does this happen, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Gloss clear sealer. And that's why it has to happen outside, because it stinks to the heavens and kind of gives me a headache. So what I did is I took my papers, including, here I'll show you now the beautiful sewing pattern tissue that comes out really very similarly to Glassine. I mean, it's as close as I've been able to get. But I take it outside and I hang it on the clothesline. And what I also do is I take a few clothesline clips that I don't now have any here, and I hang them off the bottom to give it weight. It just helps keep it straight. Now this one I did not iron any of the wrinkles out of. You can, and you'll get a smoother finish, a smoother surface. This one I did try and get the creases out that were already there, and I did it, it worked pretty well. Same with this one. So it's more clear. They're still there. They're not going to go away because they're in there. And this design also happens to have an inked edge, so that was going to show up anyway. But you can see that a little ironing does help. So then, again, take these out to a clothesline or string or tree branch or whatever you have, or if you want to try it in a spray box, and basically give this a good 1.5 minute shake and then spray. And you want to really coat each side of the material. And some of them you can see it even dripped. You really want it to absorb it all. So then the fun thing and then let it dry. And it's going to take, who knows how long it's going to take to dry in your climate. But for me, it was a nice breeze that day. So it went, in an hour, I was able to touch it without an issue. Today I have some in the kitchen that I sprayed outside. But it's raining, so I had to bring them in, and they're still drying, and it's raining now, so it could be years. But I will share that with you later in the video. So that's all you really need to know with what to do. Just take them outside and spray both sides. Now the cool thing is that once you've done that, this is a sealer. So this normally, like, forget about it, paper is now really hard. Well, it does rip. I tried to do that earlier and I couldn't, but you saw I really had to pull on it. So it can be used for a lot of things, okay? That's, I guess, where I was going with that. But again, a word of caution, it can be ripped. So what are we going to do with these? Let's have a look. So now here's one that we really want to try as the envelope, because a thicker material, and I think it's going to be a great addition. So let's just take, all right, I have this card here. I'm going to take this card, and we're going to use, let's see, which part? We'll use this part. This is a good part here. We're going to just fold, fold, cut, fold, glue. So we begin with folding the sides. And this works with any piece of paper. I don't know if you've seen, I did a video on making envelopes for any size card. Okay, so now I can cut this off. I don't need it. Oh, these are my adhesive scissors, and boy, do they feel it. Yeah. Okay, so trim that. And I think for my purposes, I'm going to ultimately trim this off. I don't want any type in this case. In some reasons, I mean, some instances you might. So then we're going to fold this way. There we go, and then we're going to fold up. And down. We're going to give them all good creases. So now, and then we're going to trim because it doesn't need to be nearly this big. Get some better scissors. So I'm going to trim to here. This will be the bottom. And then this will be the top. So where do I want the top to end? Maybe about here. Again, you're just wrapping the card up. And now you have the outline, basically, of your envelope. And we're going to cut out these corners. Anywhere there's a corner, the 4 corners are going. Hard to see this one. Okay, now we can trim our sides because they don't need to be nearly that long. So for this, I'm going to take it, I'll use the ruler. There's no crease there for me. I'm going to make it about 1 inch from the fold. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Again, about 1 inch. And then I'm going to miter all of these down. As I do with pretty much all my envelopes. Okay, now we just need to use our glue. So I'm not sure what the best glue is. Oh, and look at that. That's too crooked for me. Let's clean that up. I was saying I'm not sure which glue is the best choice for this because I'm still playing around with it. So I'm going to use, I think, the tape, 2-sided tape, double-sided tape. But if I didn't, that must needs a trim as well. I guess I was a little off kilter. Or I'm off kilter now. And that could easily be true. Okay, so let's see what happens. First, let's try this aqua glue, the liquid glue, on it and see if that works. Not so well. So let's try this Tombow other liquid glue. I haven't used this in a while, so it may take a little coaxing. Let's use it on a piece of scrap. Oh, it's not taking a lot of coaxing. Cool. Let's see how this works. Kind of like gluing vellum. You know, you're going to see the glue. But if it dries clear enough, we may not care. Definitely feels good. Oh, it's only coming through the tissue a little bit, but it is coming through. Let me hit this with a dryer, see if I can get it more transparent. Well, it is becoming more transparent, but I don't know if it's going to completely disappear. So this is a maybe, and we'll let that dry and we'll know for next time. Now let's try our favorite fabric everything on a piece. Look at this beautiful, I mean, you could so seriously use that in little taggy things. Whoops, I'm already dripping here. Shut up and glue, Christine. That was like way too much glue, but that's how it works. Okay. Well, it stays nice and transparent, which we've got to love. So let's try that, even though mine needs definite attention. All right, so what we want to do is simply glue this area. The lower flap. Same with here. We don't want to put on any more than we need, but we want it to stay stuck. So then we're going to fold it up, keeping our fingers out of the glue. Give it a press, give it a press. Yeah, this is a good choice, I think. Fabrifix comes through again. So now we'll let that dry, and we don't want it to go through. Remember, this is tissue, so it might be a little bit absorbent. It might go through, so you want to make sure that you pop it open. And then here, now see, I could have and should have mitered these a little bit in as well. I didn't, but I will miter my top just a little. I just shave a little off. Doesn't have to be a lot, just enough to tilt in those ends. Okay, so now we can put our card in, and look at that. It's like so beautiful to have a little glassine envelope that you made yourself. So now let's see if there's something else we could do with this material. So now I want to try and emboss this and see what we get when we send it through our happy little Sizzix machine. Let me put this in reasonably straight. That's as straight as it wants to get. Oh, that's why. Okay. So it's in, and now I'm going to sandwich it in its little stacking plastic sandwich and let it rip. Oh, it's going in crooked, but that's okay. There we go. Let's see. Will it emboss? Oh, it will. Isn't that lovely? Okay, I have ideas for this. So now, let me do another one, and then I'll come back to the project. Okay, so now we're going to make our little flip-out tip-in pockets. So I have two here. I'm going to make one with the embossed glassine and one with the napkin. So this one is for this, and we want to score where it says score. So these, you'll see, are a little bit differently designed than maybe some other pockets, in that they have these flaps, and I'll show you how I'm going to use them. You can cut them off. If you don't want to be flappable, don't be. But I'm just scoring them now because ultimately I'm going to fold them down. So, and then this is the one that's going to go into the journal. Okay, so then once I've done that, I can just cut this out. Well, I could cut out the insides first, and I do that simply by coming in and doing a rough cut so I can get in there. So that's certainly unacceptable as a finished window, but it allows us to get precise corners. Sorry. Take that out. Grab our 1-inch chomper for this design. We come in, line it up to that corner, and go right on it. Boom. Do it for all 4. You can see I'm going right on and lining it right up. Once we have all 4 done, we can just come in. I can see this one I was a little far over, so I'll trim that up. But then what we do, simply line up the arc, the outside arc of each, and then trim. And you get a beautiful straight. So again, just stick your knife there, and then take it from end to end. And you'll get a very lovely window. So again, here and there. And lastly, this last one I had already cut very close. Oh, that one I want to trim. This one needs first cut. So again, boom, boom. See there, I moved it too much. All right, so now we've got beautiful cut windows. Like I said, you can always come back and trim. Like I think this one I could have done a little better. I'm going to come in and just take off that little bit right there. That would bother only me, and same on this side. This one would bother you too, I think, because it's just a little off. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do the other side, same thing. All right, that one came out pretty damn perfect. So now I can go ahead and cut out the whole shebang. Cut all the way around the artwork. Okay, so now we have it cut out, and now we want to fold, match up our flaps, and keep it straight. There we go. Okay, so these also we want to fold in. They've been scored, so they should fold pretty easily. Okay, so this one we can fold too, although it's not getting folded in yet. And there will be another flap on the other side that you might have to cut off. But so now we want to put our papers in. So here's our beautiful embossed paper, and we want to stick it in and trim it down. So you can see we want it to be about the size of our opening of the whole card, sorry. So I'm just going to trim it a little bit. You'll see why in a second. Yeah, so that'll fit nicely. Because now what we're going to do to glue this in is we're going to glue these flaps closed. And what I try to do when I, oh, sorry, not this one. Sorry. What I do is I try and catch the artwork, or catch the embossed paper up here. That's going to help a lot in keeping it, giving it a longer life, in that nothing will be hitting it as you take things in and out. So the top one is very important. So I'm going to look at this and see what my top is. yes, I'm going to put this on the left side of a journal page. So this is my top. So now we decide that we want the embossed side, the raised side on the outside, just because it's tactile and beautiful and feels good. And now we can do a couple of things. One is we want to put a little glue along this edge, okay? But we'll do that first. So we want to kind of angle it in to how it's going to be, make sure that all of the other sides hit the artwork or the embossed page, and then just stick some on this side and let it dry. You want to let this dry well, because remember, we are going to close these this pocket, and we don't want wet glue hitting wet glue. So now while that one's drying, I'm going to trim this one down. So on this one, you want it this way. On this one, we're going to put a little glue on both sides, because this side has no flap. So I want to make sure where I'm putting it. There, I can put it right on the embossed page. Oh, be careful not to rip it. This is very, very delicate. There we go. Let's put this here. Make sure none of our print is showing where we don't want it. These guys. And then press. Press and flatten. So here, you can see I can trim this. It was coming out. It was going to hit in my crease. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, so here I realize that this flap is not going on this artwork. This is the flap for to attach it to the journal. So I'm going to come in here and add this bit of glue. Now we have to, of course, let that dry. Yeah, we could just add glue all around, couldn't we? Yes, of course we could. All right, so now we let that dry. All right, beautiful. So everything is good. So now we might write on here. Where's the pencil? Don't glue. Just to remind us that that gets glued actually into the journal, and the rest will get glued now. So I'm doing it this way, again, to give the paper a little bit more structure. And here, you'll see that when we close it up, it won't have gone through the tissue. I'm going to do this. Close it up, and that's going to keep that in there really well. Is give us a nice finished edge that will allow us to not hurt the paper. Okay. So the one thing we want to do now that we've got it in is make sure that we can close it properly, meaning that it's not bunching up in here. So I've got plenty of room. I don't need to trim this, but you want to do a test. If you get yours folded and it's doing this, then you want to just come in and slice the smallest amount just off this edge until it doesn't do that. So now I'm going to really crease all my folds, get my glue in there. So now you can see the glue can't transfer from one side to the other, and we have a nice finished edge up here. It's just going to look nicer in your journal and will be more sturdy and strong. So now we have to just glue up the bottom and the one side. So I know I'm putting it into my journal this way. So this is my top. So I'm going to glue here and here. And for that, I'm just going to go right along the edge. Close it up. And now I think I'm going to round this corner. I think I'm going to round both those corners. Okay, so that's good. And now I'm going to look here, like, do I want a thumb hole? I think I do. And I want a little bit of a rounding on these corners. So I'm going to put it on my small. And get a nice little edge there. Again, time has no sharp corners. There we go, beautiful. And I think I do want a thumb hole here. Very shallow, but bigger. There we go. Lovely. You can see it still looks finished. So that's a nice. And now I do have to ink it. Okay, so this guy, I mean, you could decorate it more, obviously. Of course, you can do absolutely anything you want with it. But we could put it in to our journal. Maybe find a page that's a little bit lacking. This guy. That could look cute against that. Kind of goes with it. But the point is you could put it anywhere. So then all you have to do is glue it in along this flap, and then it will sit in. And then if you want to add maybe a photo or postcards, anything you want to put in that you can see through. There's another one. Go right in. So there you have it. A nice little different glassine treatment by embossing the glassine and using it as a window. And of course you could always make this plain glassine. Just use it right off the roll, so to speak. Can't go there. That's kind of a nice look, and I really don't like this paper. So maybe this is what I'll do with it. In fact, I think that is what I'll do with it. And then stick my pieces in. Perfect. Okay, so this time I'm going to make a different kind of pocket. I'm going to use the apples from here. Like, look how sweet that is. So, same idea. I cut out this frame the same way I did the last one, and except I only did one side. So on this side I'm seeing like, I don't want that there. So I have a printout from one of my other kits, and I'm just going to take basically some scrap paper, book pages, whatever you have, and we're going to put another pocket here. So I'm going to make this about an inch shorter overall. So let me just cut this. Oh, which side should I use? I don't know. And do I want it to go that way or that way? All these questions. Well, I think I'll use this corner as planned. And I want to cover up the white, so I don't want to go too far. Go to about there. All right. And because I'm a round corner girl, and do a very shallow thumb tuck. Now I have to decide which way is it going into my journal. This way. Well, that could be nice. I don't know. It depends how showy do you want to get. So while I'm thinking of this, remember I said last time, if when you fold yours, you get a bow of any kind, trim off this edge. Just microscopically, but enough to release the paper so that it doesn't jam up in the crease. And you could close it well. So, what did I say? I was going to put it this way, right? Yeah. Mine is still jamming up a little bit. Yep, right down here. Okay. I'm going to put it this way, which means, I don't know, what do you think? Some days I decide things and other days I just can't. So I'm also going to trim up this, get this even. There we go. Okay, doesn't matter, Christine, just pick one. They're both beautiful. There's no wrong answer. So then I'm going to come here, I'm going to put my pocket in. I'm going to ink it first because I want to. Okay, now I come along the sides and the bottom. It was in a little bit, but that's okay. And helps if you close it for visuals. About there. Well, that'll make a nice pocket. Straight or not. Okay. So then here we just have to put in our apple. So I'm going to use this part. Right. Let me put a white piece of paper under there so we can get a better, get a better view. There we go. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. So, I feel like I want it to be like that. I think that would be my favorite. So we'll save that because who knows where that might wind up. And now here, yeah. I think I like that even more. Cool. So now I'm just going to flip it over, take a look, see how much, make sure I have enough to go there and there. And now I'm just going to add glue right around this window, really tight to it. I can take off some of the excess. Okay, so now we can fold this down. Fold this down. We can fold all of these down. These don't need to be here now because we don't have art. Sorry. These don't need to be here, these flaps. You could just cut them off. But, especially on the top flap, it gives an extra bonus amount of paper so that you can be more manhandly with it. But we could just glue them down. Same here. And do the same here. And here. And I don't know why it's not sticking. It's kind of weird for fabric glue. It might need a jolt of acetone. All right, and now I just have to glue it into a pocket. So now, thinking though I might round these corners. Don't you think? Yeah. Let's just do that now. We'll do medium. Doesn't want to go in. There we go. Okay, cute. All right, so now we just make it a pocket. And we do that by doing the sides. You know, the one side here and the bottom. Let me close it up. So now this will go in the journal this way, with this being the front, so to speak, the pocket. So there we go. Picture's longer than I thought. That one's too wide. I'll find something to stick in there for the reveal. But now we need the journal. And this one is going to be here. I'm going to stick it here. And then the beautiful see-through will be on the inside. I don't know if this will fit in it. Yeah, there you go. So that can be there. And then another something. I don't have any tags available here. So I'll put something in. You'll see it. Or you will have seen it because I'll probably show it at the beginning. So anyway, there it is. Very simple, nice, elegant, making vellum, glassine, transparent paper out of gloss sealer and a napkin. Cool. Go create, be awesome.